Hello everyone, this is your ideographer, formerly known as Live the Muggle, doing my first video ever on social media, so please bear with me. I am terrible at this. I'm trying to get better. I promise I will get better eventually. Today I'm speaking with Derrick Tam, who is a great friend of mine, an art director, formerly co-worker at Apotex, where we used to do labels for generic drugs, and an amazing board game player. We talk about ideation, we talk about mentors, and my favorite subject ever, anxiety! You're a creative director, right?
I am art director. Not
Art
creative
director, okay.
Yet.
Yes. Is that your aspiration?
No. Well, no, but it is the sort of default path, I guess.
Okay.
You go art director, senior art director, creative director. So that's like, if I don't do anything, that's like the default path that I'm hoping to take, but yeah.
Is there anything that you do on the side for work or just for like, passion projects, like on a regular basis, more or less?
I'm a big geek.
One of my people. Okay.
So video games, board games, as you know, we just spent
right.
playing board games. Yeah, just a lot of interactive mediums, I think, as opposed to something where like watching TV or watching a movie where I'm like less involved.
You're just more, yeah.
Not that
passive.
I don't watch movies and TVs, but like it's not my choice, like first choice of like entertainment or like something to kill time with.
Right. Do you feel like because that's kind of like your choice of pastime, do you feel like that fuels your creativity? Or is it kind of like chicken and egg situation?
I think it pushes my creativities in a different direction, in more of a UX UI direction as opposed to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it pushes down like a problem solving route, which is sort of a different aspect in that creativity field. I feel like.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me 5 things that you love in life?
5 things I love in life.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like video games and games, but I think if you want to dive deeper into that, it's the solving a puzzle, which I think a lot of video games and a lot of board games are the larger efficiency puzzle, or like a min-maxing sort of thing.
Well, I'm not surprised he said puzzles. This man is a living, breathing puzzle master, solver, math, geek, equation. You got the point.
I like food. Not necessarily like good food, just like food, I think. Honestly, like I like doing nothing or having like nothing to do. Like I don't like to fill my like schedule with like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. Let's go here this weekend.
I wish someone would invent a Freaky Friday machine so that you could switch bodies with someone. And if I would switch bodies with Derrick, I could actually enjoy spending time where I could relax instead of just fucking planning everything and being incredibly neurotic about productivity. Dear Lord, it's a gift that my parents have blessed me with. I cannot not be productive. So you're not the kind of person that feels guilty with having nothing to do.
No. So like, for instance, I know a lot of people during the pandemic had a hard time staying indoors and staying social. I was like, oh yeah, sick. I don't have excuses to go, like to make excuses to see people or not see people. So I kind of thrived during that environment.
Right.
It also helped that like I had a roommate and we moved in during the pandemic. So what number was that?
3 more things to love.
3 more things to love. God, sleep. I love sleep.
Oh, same.
Which kind of ties into
God,
doing
I love
nothing.
sleep so much.
And I like, I don't know. I think that's kind of it. Like everything else is, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
All right.
I like my friends and family.
Oh yeah. What?
I don't know.
Sure. Do you have a way that you come up with ideas, or do you have a process that you use to get into a flow when you start on a new project, or when you have to come up with a concept?
Yeah. So work, I think, would be easier just because I do that more often, which would be very brief dependent. So we have to do this, like, so everything is dependent on what the client wants and the limitations we are working in terms of budget or in terms of tech or in terms of just resources available. A lot of times technology is a big interest in driving creativity. So right now a lot of AI stuff, looking into how to use AI, best use of that.
Oh yeah.
Previously would be AR, VR, mixed reality stuff. That was a big trending thing. So a lot of that is understanding that technology or that medium, so that when opportunity arises in a brief for a client, you can implement it rather than just having like, oh, shoehorning it. Let's do a VR video. It just ends up being a video playing in a like VR space, and you're just like, why have this?
I'm guessing you don't depend on it though, right? It's just kind of like an enhancement or in addition to what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my strengths. So like, if you think of someone, a creative person, like a lot of their strengths and weaknesses, that would be like one of my strengths versus like one of my weaknesses would be I feel like color selection. So a lot of times when I have to pick colors, there are certain just aspects that you're better at and worse as a creative person in an art director role.
This is why I admire Derrick so much. He's not only modest, he also knows his limitations and his strengths. And honestly, this is how great designers become great designers in the first place. They play their strongest cards. Got it.
And that's just like, oh, that's one of my pluses. So like I lean heavily into technology, and there's where I get a lot of value, versus someone who maybe leans really heavy into illustration or photography, videography. Like I lack in those skills.
Is there one or more than one project or idea that you're really proud of?
The commercial I did for eye drops,
Okay.
that was a lot of fun. It was like my first like big commercial shoot, and it was like something like, oh, you see on TV, watch CBC or something like that. Commercial comes up.
Nice.
And we did that alongside a Twitch project where we did Twitch ad, video ad. So that was like, it was a lot of work at that in a small period of time, but it was very fun seeing the final results, and I love showing people. Like that is like the piece I will show people. It's like, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, check out this thing. This was on Twitch or this was on TV, basically.
What would you say is your most common hurdle, or as I like to call it, your art nemesis?
Art nemesis. Oh, especially at school. This was a big issue where, not necessarily perfectionism, but like I would iterate so many times on a piece of project or whatever I'm working on, until it looked like until it was good enough to submit or whatever. That also carried into my work where like I would spend too much time just iterating on a piece instead of like finishing and just pushing it out. Mm-hmm. Like it's like, oh, this is just some leap behind, where really at the scope of things it doesn't really matter how pretty the cover looks, but I would always tweak, and I either have gotten better at knowing when to cut off or gotten better at just like tweaking faster to get a like iteration.
Yeah. I guess maybe this is what passion means. You're not creating the best result for the client so that they can applaud you afterwards, so they can get your laurels and the pats on their back. No, you do it because you want to get the best out there. It's not just about a pretty picture. It's about making something better. That's what we strive for. This is where the obsession comes in, and this is why we get so much anxiety, because if we don't make things better, then why are we designers in the first place? In my experience, that gives me a shit ton of anxiety. Like, is that the same case for you, or is it more on the exciting part?
It's a lot of anxiety if I feel like the work I'm doing right now is not good enough. So I get really nervous when I'm like designing, let's say like something like meh, like a PowerPoint, right? Where it's just like, it's a PowerPoint. No one really like cares about this unless it's a pitch deck. But I'm like, oh, it just looks bad. I just don't want to show it, right? Like it's gotta look better.
Right.
So I think there's a skill to develop where like knowing when to focus on that, like when to put that effort into it, because it definitely pays off. Like pitch is obviously, you want that detail in there because it's the first thing. Like clients are very visual based, right? Yeah. You don't want them rejecting an idea because your mock-ups or your concepts look bad. So there's where like you can focus on versus like, here's this random email that's mostly just download this form. doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
Stop stressing over it.
So, how do you deal with the anxiety? Like, let's say it's not just an email. Let's say it's a bigger project that you're working on, and like you're not sure if this is good enough or not for your standards anyway, because we all have super high standards of ourselves. So, how do you usually deal with that anxiety? How do you go forward?
A lot of it is asking someone, getting a second opinion.
Okay.
In office, it's very easy. You just turn around and be like, "Hey, take a look at this. Does this look weird? Do you think like this?" You know, you just start a conversation with fellow coworkers. Doesn't even need to be an art director. A lot of times, you just get like someone else's eyes on it. They can provide a lot of feedback.
Do you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, I always held back from asking other people because I was embarrassed by the work.
Yeah.
Like that was the only. It was not that I didn't want the feedback. It's just because I thought it looked so bad that I didn't even want to ask someone's opinion.
Yes, I've had that before.
Okay.
It's like that's an extension of like, oh, I don't want to show any of this work because it's not good enough yet. So
Yeah.
you want to get to a stage where it's like respectable.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That went away pretty quickly, and I think that is because of good coworkers.
Nice.
Especially if you're just like, everyone does bad design sometimes. Like you can't win them all for sure. But it's also like if you have good mentors that are able to help you or explain or guide you, I guess, not explain, being like, hey, give suggestions. That goes a long way.
What would you say is the best creative advice you've received?
Best creative advice I've received. I believe it's Ira Glass. I believe he's a writer. But I only know him through this quote, which is, I can't remember the full thing, but he was basically explaining when you get like writer's block or something like that, where like he's saying, oh, you're writing, and then you think what you write is bad. So if you apply it to whatever art, so like let's say you're working on a project and you know it's bad, he's just like, oh, just do more. The reason you think it's bad is because you have taste and you know it's bad. Other people might be like, oh yeah, it's fine, right? But you know it's bad. But that's because you know what's good and what's bad. That means you have taste.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to like get through that or to reach what you have envisioned is just to do more projects, more designs, more whatever creative aspect you're in. And I think I would give that, like if that someone told me that in university, I think I would have done a lot better.
So I did find the quote. It is by Ira Glass, and he is a writer. And it goes something like this. Nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is this gap. For the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you're just starting out or you're still in this phase, you gotta know it's normal. And the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week we'll finish one story. It is only by going through a volume of work that you will close that gap. And your work will be as good as your ambitions. And it took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's gonna take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just gotta fight this through. Woo, good stuff. I know I have a specific feeling when I get into the zone.
Yeah.
How does that manifest for you?
I don't know if I do it. I think I just stopped doing other stuff. I just want to do more of what I'm doing. A lot of times, like, you know how like you want to eat on a schedule? It's like, oh, let's eat lunch together. But like if I'm in a zone, I don't want to eat.
The person he's speaking to, by the way, is Denise, his fiance. One of the sweetest people I've ever met. But this man loves food. I've known him for 7 years now, and I know how much he loves food. So the fact that he forgets to eat or just doesn't want to just speaks volume about the quality of his flow. So hats off to you, mister. Hats off to you.
If I'm in a zone, I don't want to eat. I always want to stay in there and continue doing it, and then I'll eat whenever I'm done or like I feel really hungry.
And now for my favorite part, the card.
Let's put
Alright.
this on there.
Very nice, yeah. Alright, and you can flip it around too if you want. And can you read it to me?
Any one of us has a theoretical chance of being an agent in history, on a big or small scale. It is open to our own times to build a new city as beautiful as Venice, to change ideas radically as the Renaissance, or to start an intellectual movement as resounding as Buddhism.
Alright.
It's like fortune cookie stuff, but like more.
I've been expecting you. How do you do this? How? Woo! Yes. I'm speaking to. Fuck. Hello, everyone. God. Hola.